Ladies, y'all already know this podcast is all about real talk, self love, healing, and everything in between. But let's be honest, sometimes we just need a little drama, a little spice, a little story that makes us gasp, laugh, and scream at our phones like, girl, what? And that's exactly why I created Tea Tales. Sometimes healing means laughing through the madness. Y'all all new here, so let me tell y'all how this works. Tea Tales is my personal collection of wild, messy, too real, fictional stories based on situations that we as women have either been through, witnessed, or barely escaped from. And let me warn you, these stories, they don't have endings. Yep, you heard me. No perfect wrap ups, no neat little bows, no and they live happily ever after, because let's be real life doesn't always give us closure. Sometimes you never get that last text, and sometimes the only ending is the one you decide. And that's what makes Tea Tales special. So every Monday at 8 p.m., I'm giving y'all a new two-part story. The drama, it's juicy. The suspense, it's real. And I already know y'all gonna be in my DM talking about, sis, you cannot leave me hanging like this. But guess what? I absolutely will. And you gonna keep coming back for more. So whether you're here for laughs, the relatable mess, or just a good story to make you forget about your own drama for a second, welcome to Tea Tales. Grab your drink, get cozy, and let's get into it. All right, ladies, let me ask y'all something. What's the one thing that holds us together no matter what? What's the one thing that keeps us from losing our minds when life gets too real? Our friendships, our sisters, our girls, and that's exactly what Three Strikes is about. Naomi, Danielle, and Tasha, three women, three different struggles, but no matter what, they always come back to find each other. They may not have all the answers, they may be drowning in their own drama, but at the end of the day, they're all they've got. Now let's talk about the strikes they've been dealing with. Naomi, sisters indeed. She's caught up with a married man, and let's just say it's getting messy. She knows she should walk away, but we all know how these situations go. Sometimes feelings don't just disappear because we tell them to. And now she's stuck between her heart and her common sense. Danielle, she's in a whole different storm. Her ex won't let go. No matter what she does, he keeps finding a way back into her life. And the worst part, it's not just love that keeps pulling her in, it's fear. She's trying to escape, but when you've been trapped for so long, sometimes you don't even know if you can. And then there's Tasha. She's the life of the party, the wild one, the one who never seems to have a care in the world. But what happens when the turn up is just a cover up? What happens when the shots, the dancing, and the late nights can't feel the emptiness inside? She might not say it out loud, but she's just as lost as the rest of them. We got three women, three different struggles, three strikes. But the thing is, strikes don't always mean game over. And if there's one thing these ladies know, is that no matter how deep the mess gets, they always find a way back to each other. So buckle up, ladies, because Three Strikes is about to take you on a journey. One filled with love, lies, heartbreak, and healing, and all the mess in between. And just like every tea tale, you won't see the ending coming. Let's get into it. Chapter 1, Entangled Beginnings. The bright light gleamed with the glow of 1,000 lights, masking the chaos lurking in the shadows of its towering buildings. For Naomi Green, the night air carried a sharp mix of regret and anticipation as she smoothed the hem of her dress. Standing outside the entrance of the Sterling Hotel, she checked her phone for the third time in 5 minutes. No new messages. Maybe he's running late, she mumbled to her reflection, staring back at her from the mirror glass of the hotel. Her velour black dress hugged her curves so perfectly, but the weight of what she was doing made her feel small. Naomi's heart skipped a beat as the black SUV pulled up. Malcolm Jameson stepped out, a picture of wealth and charm, his tailored suit practically gleaming under the streetlights. She inhaled sharply as he approached, flashing that perfect smile that had captivated her months ago. "Hey, gorgeous," he said, leaning in for a brief kiss on her cheek. His cologne was intoxicating, but the pang in her chest reminded her that this wasn't right. He wasn't hers. Inside the hotel's rooftop lounge, they slid into a quiet corner booth. Naomi swirled her wine glass, trying to ignore the sinking feeling in her stomach. I just couldn't stay away, Malcolm whispered, brushing his hand against hers. She smiled weakly, but before she could respond, his phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at it, the name Renee flashing across the screen. His wife. Naomi's body froze. You still with her? Malcolm huffed. You know how complicated this is. I'm working on it. She looked away, her throat tight. Working on it. Malcolm, I can't keep doing this. Chapter 2, The Party Girl. Laughter echoed through the crowded nightclub as Tasha Bennett danced freely. Lost in a moment, her shimmering gold dress catching every flash of light. The bass pulsed through her veins, and the tequila shots she drowned earlier fueled her confidence. She was in her element, carefree, sexy, and untouchable. But beneath the surface, the cracks in her confidence whispered truths she wasn't ready to face. Girl, you on fire tonight, her friend Kia shouted, pulling her into a hug. Tasha grinned, but spotting a tall, handsome stranger leaning against the bar. He raised his glass to her, and she didn't hesitate to strut her ass over. Buy me a drink, she asked, her voice dripping with flirtation. Anything for you, he said, smoothly signaling the bartender. The night blurred into laughter and stolen kisses. The next afternoon, Tasha finally woke up. Sunlight streamed through an unfamiliar window. The stranger was already gone. But as she stretched, her eyes landed on a framed photo on a nightstand. A woman in a white dress, arm in arm with the man from last night. Her stomach turned. Seriously? She let out, throwing her hands over her head. Her phone vibrated from the floor. Picking it up, she found a text from Naomi. They hang out, 5 p.m., we need to talk. Tasha groaned, dragging herself out of bed. Another day, another mess to clean. Chapter 3, Haunted Shadows. Danielle Carter pulled her hoodie tighter around her as she sat on her worn couch. The flickering glow of the TV was the only light in the room. She gripped her phone tightly, staring at the screen. The message from her ex-boyfriend Ethan was simple but menacing. We're not done, you'll see. Her chest tightened. She had blocked his number countless of times, but he always finds a way back. Memories of his violent words and controlling hands flooded through her mind. She shut her eyes, willing the images away. The knock at the door made her jump. Heart racing, she tiptoed to the peephole. Relief washed over her when she saw Naomi and Tasha on the other side. Girl, you look like you just seen a ghost, Tasha said as she walked in. Her lively spirit felt almost out of place with the dark atmosphere of Danielle's apartment. I might as well have, Danielle mumbled underneath her breath while sinking back into the couch. Naomi frowned. What's up, girl? Is he still bothering you? Danielle nodded back and Tasha's playful demeanor faded. I'm really getting tired of this. You need to report him. I can't, Danielle says. It's not that simple. The room fell silent. Then Tasha spoke. Well, look, I got you. We got you. We'll figure this out. Danielle was grateful, but also unconvinced. Deep down, she knew no one could save her from the ghost of her past. Chapter 4, Collisions. The hookah lounge hummed with early conversation as the three women sat at their usual corner table. Naomi stared into her mimosa, Tasha scrolled through her phone, and Danielle browsed through the hookah flavors. I can't keep doing this, Naomi finally said, breaking the silence. Doing what? Tasha asked without even looking up. This thing with Malcolm is wrong, and I know it, but I can't stop. Tasha took a deep breath. You want the truth? You're better than this, Naomi, and you know it. Naomi looked away, tears threatening to spill. We all have our issues, don't we? Danielle finally spoke, her voice quiet but firm. Maybe it's time we actually do something about them. Tasha set her phone down. Okay, Oprah, what's the plan? We start by being honest with ourselves and each other. Before anyone else could respond, Naomi's phone shook the table. She glanced at it, her face draining of color. It's Malcolm's wife. Okay, well, what does she want? Tasha asked. Naomi ordered another drink. She wants to meet tonight. The gravity of the truth hung in the air, and for a moment none of them spoke. Outside, the world bustled on, oblivious to the storms brewing in each of their lives. Chapter 5, Truths Unveiled. Naomi stood outside the lounge, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. She stared at the text from Renee, Malcolm's wife, replaying the words in her mind. We need to talk tonight, Sterling Cafe at 7 p.m. Her friends had begged her not to go. Danielle had warned her about the emotional toll, and Tasha had outright declared that shit to be a trap. But Naomi felt she owed it to herself, maybe even to Renee, to face the truth. She pushed open the cafe door, the bell above jingling softly. The smell of fresh coffee fused with her growing anxiety. Seated at a corner table was Renee, impeccably dressed in a sexy, well-fitted cream blazer and sparkling gold earrings. She looked calm, almost too calm. Her stare drilled into Naomi. She demanded full attention as she approached. Naomi, Renee said, her voice cool and composed. Renee, Naomi replied, sitting down slowly. For a moment they sat in silence. The background chatter of the cafe softened the quiet gap between them. Renee leaned forward, her manicured fingers wrapping around her coffee cup. I know everything, she began, her voice steady but sharp. The late night texts, the hotel meetups, the lies. Malcolm is many things, but he's not as good as hiding his tracks as he thinks. Naomi hesitated. I didn't mean to fall for a married man, Renee interrupted, raising an eyebrow. Spare me the excuses. I don't care to judge you. I'm here to warn you. Warn me? Renee leaned in closer. Her voice dropped into a whisper. Malcolm isn't who you think he is. He has a pattern. Woman like you, promises he never keeps, and a trail of destruction left behind. What are you talking about? Naomi asked, desperately waiting for an answer. Renee gave this cold smile. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. But if you keep seeing him, you might find yourself in a situation you can't walk away from. Naomi immediately thought, is this bitch threatening me? She instantly held back. Are you threatening me? She asked, but firm. No, Renee said, leaning back. I'm saving you. She slid a folded piece of paper across the table. This is the number of someone you should talk to. Someone who's been where you are. Before Naomi could respond, Renee stood up, walked away, her heels clicking against the tile floors with confidence. Naomi unfolded the paper with shaky hands. Written in neat, precise handwriting was a name. Lauren Phillips. Beneath it, a phone number. Chapter 6. Shadows from the Past. Tasha fixed her dress in the mirror of the club's bathroom, smiling as she layered on her lip gloss. Tonight was about forgetting Naomi's drama, Danielle's haunting past, and her own growing sense of emptiness. The thrum of the music thumped against the walls, calling her back to the dance floor. She stepped out into the chaos of flashing lights and grinding bodies, her confidence quickly restored. As she moved to the beat, a familiar face caught her eye. She froze for a minute. Aaron? He was leaning against the bar, but that cocky-ass grin sent a chill down her spine. It had been 2 years since she last seen him, the man who had swept her off her feet, but only to ghost her when she needed him most. What the hell is he doing here? She asked underneath her breath. But before she could slip away, his eyes met hers, and a flicker of recognition passed across his face, followed by a smirk. He got up from the bar and headed to her, drink in hand, walking with his signature swagger walk. Tasha, he said smoothly, his voice cutting through the music. Long time. She crossed her arms, her posture defensive. Not long enough. He chuckled, still feisty. I see. I missed that about you. Save it, Aaron, she snaps. What do you want? He leaned in, his expression softening. To talk. I made mistakes, Tasha. I know that. Let me make it right. Her heart hesitated, torn between what she wanted and what she feared. Memories of their time together rushing back, but before she could respond, the DJ's voice boomed over the speakers. This next one's for my party people. Let's keep the energy up, y'all. The crowd erupted and Aaron took her hand, pulling her toward the edge of the dance floor. One dance, he said, his voice low. That's all I'm asking. Against her better judgment, she let him lead her into the music, her heart pounding for all the wrong reasons. Chapter 7, The Breaking Point. Danielle stared at the blinking cruiser on her laptop screen, the unfinished email to her therapist with her own words typed in black ink staring back at her, with half-formed confessions she wasn't ready to send. She hadn't been able to sleep since Ethan's last message. Every creak in her apartment sent her heart racing. Every shadow felt like a threat. Her phone lit up from the coffee table and her blood ran cold under the message from Ethan. You think you're safe, but I'm closer than you think. Tears stung her eyes when she picked up the phone, her fingers trembling. She opened into the message, sitting there frozen in fear as she saw the attached photo. A picture of her apartment building taken from the street. Oh shit, he's here? She jumped to her feet, locking the windows and double checking the door. Her mind raced. Should I call the police or Naomi? Fuck that, I'm calling Tasha. The sound of footsteps outside her door froze her in place. She grabbed the nearest object, a heavy glass vase, and stood motionless. Her ears straining, the footsteps stopped, followed by a faint knock. Danielle? A familiar voice called out. She nearly dropped the vase. It was Tasha. She rushed to the door, flinging it open to find both Tasha and Naomi standing there. Danielle, what the fuck is going on? Tasha asked, stepping inside. Danielle burst into tears, dropping straight into Naomi's arms. He's here, she cried. Ethan, he sent me a picture of the building. Naomi's expression turned stone. We are not letting him hurt you again, ever. And that's on that. Tasha glanced at the locked windows. Call the damn police, Danielle, because you know soon shit go down, they quick to say they the victim. Danielle hesitated, her mind swirling with fear and doubt, but as she looked at her friends, a spark of courage ignited within her. Maybe she wasn't as alone as she thought. Chapter 8, The Reckoning. The apartment felt too small for the tension that filled it. Danielle sat on the couch, her knees drawn to her chest, while Naomi paced the floor and Tasha stood guard by the window. The police had come and gone, taking Danielle's report and promising to keep an eye out. But it wasn't enough to make her feel safe. I should have handled this months ago, Danielle said, her voice cracking. But I was too scared, and now he knows where I live. Tasha interrupted. Babe, this man knew where you lived the moment he dropped you off on the first date. This type of dude saves the address once he reaches the location. Naomi knelt in front of her, gripping her hands. You're not alone in this. We'll figure this out together. Tasha slammed her phone down. Together is great, but we need a goddamn plan. This guy's a psycho, and the freaking cops clearly aren't going to do anything until it's too late. Everyone sat in deep thought until Naomi's phone buzzed. She looked at the screen, her face peeling. It was a text from Malcolm. I know you met with Renee. We need to talk now. Her heart raced as she stared at the message, guilt and fear swirling in her chest. She hadn't told Tasha or Danielle about her meeting with Renee, or the name and number she'd been given. Now Malcolm's sudden demand only added to her growing sense of dread. What now? Who is it? Tasha asked, raising an eyebrow. She hesitated, then locked her phone. No one important. Before Tasha could press further, a loud bang sounded from the hallway. All three women jumped. Danielle clutched Naomi's arm. What was that? Tasha moved toward the door, squinting through the peephole. Her eyes quickly widened. She turned back to Danielle and Naomi, her voice low. Someone's out there. Naomi pulled Danielle toward the kitchen. Stay here, she whispered, grabbing a knife from the counter. Tasha cracked the door open just enough to peek inside. A man stood there, his back to them, breathing heavy as he fiddled with something in his hand. She froze as recognition set in. It's Ethan, she screamed to Naomi. Naomi gripped the knife tighter, her mind racing. We cannot let this crazy man get to Danielle, she whispered. But before they could decide their next move, Ethan turned and slammed his fist against the door. Danielle, he shouted. I know you're in there. Open this fucking door. Danielle cried all the way from the kitchen, her entire body trembling. He's gonna hurt me. Naomi exchanged a look with Tasha without a word. They silently agreed on a plan. Tasha grabbed a frying pan from the counter and motioned for Naomi to unlock the door. The door creaked open slightly and Ethan pushes his way in, his eyes wild. Where is she? He demanded. But before he could take another step, Tasha swung the frying pan with all her strength, landing a direct hit into the back of his head. Ethan stumbled, but his fury only grew. He rushed toward Tasha and Naomi ran in, swinging the knife, slashing his arm. Clutching his wound, he stumbled back toward the door. The sirens pulsed louder and louder. They were getting closer. Ethan's eyes darted around the room before he bolted down the hallway, leaving a trail of blood in his wake. Tasha slammed the door shut, locking it and leaning against it. Her body trembled with every deep dragging inhale. What the hell just happened? Naomi dropped the knife, her hand shaking. Oh, we just fought him off. Danielle finally crawled from the kitchen. What if he comes back? Naomi wrapped the arm around her. We're not going to let that happen. You're safe now. Tasha paced the floor. We'll be ready for round 2, 3, 4, 12, and that's on period. They hadn't noticed the siren had stopped outside. And a knock came at the door. Police! A voice called out. Chapter 9, Broken Promises. Later that night, Naomi sat alone in her apartment, replaying the events in her mind. She felt the mixture of pride and fear. They had protected Danielle, but at what cost? Ethan wasn't done for good. She could feel it. Her phone vibrated beside her, this time with a call from an unknown number. Hesitating, she answered. Hello? Naomi? A soft voice said on the other end. This is Lauren Phillips. Naomi's breath stopped. She thought, Renee's note? But how did she... Hi, she said cautiously. I wasn't sure if I'd actually call you. Oh, never mind that, Lauren said, and by her voice, Naomi can tell it was urgent. I don't have much time, but you need to know something about Malcolm. He's dangerous. Naomi's stomach dropped. What is this man really doing or into? What do you mean, Lauren? What's going on? I don't know how much Renee told you, but Malcolm has the history. I was in your position once, and I barely made it out. He's manipulative, controlling, and when things don't go his way, he gets violent. Malcolm had always been charming, calculated, but violent. She struggled to reconcile the image of the man she thought she knew with what Lauren was saying. I need you to be careful, Lauren continued, and whatever you do, don't meet with him alone. Naomi thanked her and ended the call quickly. Things were getting weirder. She leaned back, but a knock startled her. She almost dropped her phone. She crept to the door and peeped through the peephole. It was Malcolm. Chapter 10, All or Nothing. Naomi opened the door just a crack, her heart pounding fast as fuck. What are you doing here? Malcolm leaned against the frame, his expression unreadable. We need to talk. Now's not a good time, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. He stepped forward, forcing her to open the door wider. Well, it can't wait. As he entered, the air in the room grew thick with tension. Naomi's mind raced with Lauren's warning. She needed to keep him calm, but her instinct screamed for her to run. Why did you meet with Renee? He asked, his voice cold. Naomi's face screwed. She reached out to me. I didn't know what to say. You shouldn't have met with her, he said, his tone sharp. She's trying to ruin us. Us? There is no us, Malcolm. You're married. Oh, that made his jaw tight, and for the first time, Naomi saw a flicker of something dark in his eyes. I told you, I'm handling it. You just need to trust me. Naomi backed away, fear growing. I don't think I can. But before Malcolm could respond, her phone buzzed again. She looked at the screen and saw another text from Lauren. Is he with you? Get out of there, now. Whoa. Okay, ladies, whoa. Whoa. Y'all, this is exactly why I say women go through too much. You mean to tell me she finally breaks free, blocks this man, and now he want to show up at her door like a scene from a Lifetime movie? Like, sir, be for real. You had a whole wife and a side life. It's no judging here. So, there's two groups of side chicks, okay? We got the side chicks that's, oh, you got to leave your wife. You promised to be with me, and we got to be a family, and dot, 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 dot. We not judging. And then we got the ones that's like, hold up. Wait. You got a wife, sir. I'm playing my part. You must play yours. We both know we're not supposed to be doing this. You gonna show up at my goddamn house? Number one, how we know at this point you not being followed? Because Lauren just texted me. Lauren just texted me and asked me, are you here? So at this point, this is getting too crazy. Why are you here? Lauren just hit her with the get out of there now text. Like she was in a horror movie. It's giving run, bitch, run. My thing is, Naomi, why you was still in that house? Since the moment you saw Malcolm turn up, That would have been my cue to say my lift is outside, or I'm waiting on my lift. I would have already been heading out the door. She saw it was him and opened up a little crack. Like, you know the guy you dealing with. Like, come on. Like, that's the stuff us girls do. Like, we gonna open a little crack and tell him I don't want to talk. We know this guy. We know he's gonna push on through. Naomi, that part was like really, it got to me. And for his ass to say to her, well, he can't wait and push himself through. Like, come on, yeah, we all knew that was gonna happen. This was looking like a little intro for a conversation for your wife, sir. You a little tired. You a little past your mark, bro. I'm sorry, cause us women, I don't want to laugh, but I need to laugh here because the stuff we go through, like, sir, you a little past it. This can't wait. You, I couldn't. I don't know why Naomi stayed in that house. She had plenty of time to get on through. I would have never stayed in there. Come on, you know we dealing with. We got people that you don't know just giving you advice, and you don't know what the hell is going on, and she gonna back up to where a set of keys lay. Bitch, them keys can't get you nowhere. Go outside. Like, come on, how many times has this woman have tried to jump in our vehicle? How many of us have tried to jump in our vehicle? Our vehicle have either got damaged or we never got on through. So don't even add the vehicle. At this point, add the next person's vehicle or go outside. We're going to talk around witnesses, sir. We're not going to be in a house. She in there talking. I can't. Naomi is over here dodging happily married nightmare. Okay. Tasha is somewhere still trying to turn up and drown out her problems in tequila. And let's not forget Danielle, who's probably sleeping with one eye open, waiting for Ethan's crazy eyes to pop up again. Because, baby, that man don't take no for an answer. And shout out to the besties. Shout out to the mother besties. Naomi and Tasha really jumped in like, oh, we fighting today? Say less. That's real friendship, because if my girl's not pulling up like that for me, I don't want them. Like, you're not about to beat on my friend. You're jumping in here. I got a knife, she got a pan. Like, what we doing? We slicing and banging? Like, we making a band. Get in the kitchen, Danielle. Baby, we here for you for a reason. Like, but nah, listen, I know we all laughing now, but let's be real. Some of us listening done been Naomi. Some of y'all done tried to break it off with a man who refused to accept it. Like, breaking up requires his signature or something. Like, sir, if you don't get out my face and go get a therapist, and for my Danielles out there, I know too many women who have dealt with a man that just won't leave them alone. That kind of fear is real. And it's why we as women gotta stick together. That's what real sisterhood looks like. Ride or die, but let's not die. Let's not die. What's the craziest run girl run moment you've ever had? Like Naomi? Did you ever get a warning and stay longer than you should have? How do you handle heartbreak? Are you the Naomi overthinking? The Danielle scared but trying? Or the Tasha partying through the pain? Be honest. Would you have helped your friend fight? Or would you have been recording it from the car yelling, get 'em sis, load me up? Because I got to know the tea. Spill me in, spill me in. At the end of the day, Three Strikes, it's about how women navigate pain, relationships, trauma, and friendships. We all deal with heartbreak in different ways. Some of us shut down, some of us turn up, some of us pretend we're okay when we're really falling apart inside. But no matter what, the lesson here is you don't have to go through it alone. Whether you have two homegirls riding for you like Tasha and Naomi, or a podcast like this reminding you that you ain't crazy for feeling what you feel, you're not alone, sis. These men be having too much audacity. Don't worry, we ain't done yet. Next week, baby, the mess only gets messier. So next week, we're diving even deeper into Three Strikes. Is Naomi really done with Malcolm? Or is he about to prove why married men ain't never worth the drama? Is Danielle finally going to make her move to get away from Ethan for good? And Tasha, girl, at what point do you sit down and just feel your emotions instead of drowning them in tequila? We got a lot to get into, so make sure y'all are locked in. I love y'all. For real, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I see y'all next Monday, 8 p.m. Don't be late.